guys, how you going? Coming from the mountains west of Sydney with rain again. Oh, okay, but it's supposed to be a bit warmer tomorrow. It's cold today. 16 degrees Celsius here in the middle of, well, the last month of summer. Actually, the last 2 weeks nearly of summer. Okay, well, and I've been looking at a lot of chicken stuff. I nearly got carried away looking at chicken stuff. I've got a couple of messages. Okay, let's get on with this. Mike said, the Pres on DJT is not on the Epstein list. You know how I know? Because the Democrats would have leaked it. That's how desperate they are. And they would have thrown him under the bus just as they did with Epstein and Maxwell. And who took the picture? I believe that was one of the judges. The Wind Doctor said the biggest tip-off that Mr. T isn't on Epstein list is they won't release it. And it's true, because they would have thrown him under the bus when they, well, probably before they threw Epstein under there. And then it would have been, he didn't kill himself either. Kevin said, what the F, they're slowly admitting the truth behind why the client list is the most secure document in DC, which it is, but they're going to release it, but it's accused people. I don't know if it's going to be I don't know. We'll wait and see. Conservative Patriot Pizza Biatch said, I can't believe this kind of stuff is happening. I had to say it that way, sorry. California legislature passes bill reducing penalties for oral and other really bad things, all right, the back end, with willing children. What? You know why? They also did this with the lynching. They were doing the Justice Smollett thing because they wanted to get rid of lynching. They know what's coming. So they're trying to make it less. It says here, okay, readers, okay, they fact-checked. Some lefty has fact-checked this. California Bill SB 145 eliminates inequality. Oh, yes. In sex offender registry by treating all statutory rape cases the same regardless of what kind of act. In addition, rather than young adult automatically being registered as an offender, the judge made it. Well, the judges are in on it too. And I can imagine the Californian judges, they're probably the worst. I don't know, to be honest. There's probably some good ones. But dear me, Freedom Embassy said release the Epstein Island frequent flyer list. You can't hide anymore. Kids need justice. Why did Anthony Bourdain and Anne Heche die? They were going to expose the evil crimes on innocent kids, along with a lot of other people. What was it? Lincoln Park, the Chester Bennington, and oh, there's heaps of them. Brenner Ward, some people thought the previous video clip was fake or lip-synced, so here's another clip. Oh, this is our Next News Network with Gary Franchi. Release, the people are just demanding to release the tapes. That's what we are, all demanding. Sorry, release the lists. Truthseekers said Kevin Shipp drops a truth bomb about how the elites control the population and what the elites do to other people to shut them up. Are you ready for it? Let's have a listen.
To control the population, you have to control the people messaging the population.
They're running blackmail operations where they're getting very well-known government and private industry elite people in compromising positions at the Playboy Mansion, on Epstein's plane, on Orgy Island, and they're photographing them. And after that, it's like Congressman so-and-so or CEO so-and-so. I wouldn't bring that up if I was you, because we got photographs of you with a 14-year-old girl on Epstein's plane, for example. And you talk about shutting somebody up permanently, that's how they do it.
What happens in the grotto stays in the grotto.
To control the population.
There you go. That's how they do it. Alan Roberts said anyone suspected of being on the list should be asked non-stop about it until they answer specifically if they went and what all they did on the island. Kathy Griffin, why not address it? Look at this. Ready? Hang on.
You guys.
Someone replied, you proud of visiting Epstein Island,
Seriously?
sicko? Yeah, seriously, love. Tell us. We would love to know. Yeah, exactly. We would love to know. All she's got to say is seriously and point at it. That's Kathy Griffin. Griffin. Okay, Wayne Dupre said our founders would be horrified that the government of the people is targeting the people. Leaked FBI memo shows Bureau and DOJ targeting, again, Catholics as violent extremists. Look, most Catholics I know are good people, okay? Just because the leadership of, like, the Vatican and that have gone rogue, so have a lot of other Christian pastors and things like that. So it's not just the Catholics Church. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and Department of Justice have come under increased scrutiny after a leaked memo reportedly shows the Bureau warning radical traditionalist Catholics pose an extremist threat. Dear God. Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares was joined by 19 other attorneys general in sending a letter to the DOJ condemning an anti-Catholic internal memorandum that became public last week. Good. The memo, according to those AGs, identifies radical traditionalist Catholics as potential racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists. Oh, come on, man. As Joe Biden would say, come on, man. No, that's my saying. He stole it from me. Carl Serafin, a former FBI special agent and federal whistleblower, obtained the document from a field office, Richmond, Virginia, and published it on Uncovered DC website. The memorandum attempts to discern between acceptable and unacceptable Catholic beliefs and practices, while suggesting there are radical traditionalists who have the potential of being racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists. This is absolute crap. Okay. Sherry said, let's make her very famous. This lady here, Sarah Jiang in New York Times, or Jiang, or whatever her name is, editorial board, said that every time she sees a bald white kid, she secretly hopes he has leukemia, and she does her own little private end zone dance. This woman should be kicked out of America. Seriously, send home. Come on, man, said, so while Elbow blows more millions supporting 19,000 illegal immigrants to receive permanent residency here in Australia and have access to all of our welfare, Aboriginal communities continue to be ignored and have real issues caused by Labor dumping the cashless welfare card. It's a mess. So he's letting in more immigrants and he's ignoring the Aboriginal people's problems, and he doesn't give a flying, you know what. He really doesn't. Look, we've got a selfie Prime Minister. That's all he likes to do. And obviously drink a lot. Okay? He's giving 19,000 illegal immigrants permanent residency and access to all the welfare, which means taxpayers are going to be paying more tax. Meanwhile, some of us are trying to get off this rubbish, off this merry-go-round. Okay. Margot Delia. Remember these? Okay, just let's watch this. Let me make it... Oh, I've got to make it quiet. Okay, remember masks. Sorry, it's not someone tearing their own head off. It's actually a mask. Remember? This is how realistic they can make these things look. That's why when you look at Joe Biden, it's someone wearing a mask. I swear to you, half of these people are someone else wearing a mask to look like them. So there you go. Just wanted to remind everybody about masks. Not the masks you put over your face, the other ones. Well, you do put them over your face, but it's a whole face mask with hair and everything. The Gateway pundit said another school bus beat 2 black girls savagely pummeled special needs child on a school bus, victim's mother to sue. And I'm not going to show the video. You don't need to, it's distressing. I've seen a few of them this week, and they're fully distressing. I saw an Indian lady get hammered. I don't know if she was Indian or Palestinian or what, but she was getting hammered by the men. And I just mean hit, okay? When I say hammered, I mean hit. It's been quite a distressing thing to see. But anyway, let's continue. Liz Churchill said it should be very evident right now that we're being seriously attacked from the WEF, UN, WHO, globalist forces. I also, sorry, just to go back on this one, I also think that a lot of this has to do with maybe trying to get white people angry against black. I don't know. I'm just letting you know to be aware just in case. Okay? Okay. Yeah, Liz Churchill said it should be very evident right now we're being seriously attacked by the WEF, UN, WHO, globalist forces. Definitely, we are, full on. Steve Mudflat McGrew says, thanks for dropping the truth when the MSM won't. Brendan Dilly said, I know everyone's wondering why mainstream corporate media is dead silent about the massive eco-disaster currently taking place in Ohio. Now there's been a few other ones, derailments. And I'd like to clear up this question. It's because of who owns the railroad company responsible for the disaster. The Vanguard Group has a 7.68% share. JP Morgan Investment Management has 4.54%. BlackRock Fund Advisors have a 4.54%. SSGA Funds Management has 4.47%. Lazard Asset Management LLC has 3.35%. Capital Research and Management Co. has 3.29%. And another 2.54%. Geode Capital Management has 1.79%. Wells Fargo Clearing Services has a 1.5%. And Lazard Asset Management Pacific has a 1.46%. So there you go. That is why you're probably not hearing anything about it. That's the top 10 owners of Norfolk Southern Corp, okay? Santino said an accurate depiction of the dystopia the ruling class want you to live under, okay? 6G, I am happy written across the top. Something like I am happy, live in the pod. Yeah, this is what you're going to be. Menu, GMO soy, bugs, microplastics, seed oils and Soylent Green. New normal. At the greater good, sorry, just the greater good. Support current thing. There's a picture of Klaus Schwab with the all-seeing eye above him, and you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, apparently. And your pod number. And this will be what you live in. And that's will be what you look like. Yeah. Really, there's even like cockroaches. Lovely. That's exactly what it's going to end up like. I'm telling you, if we don't fight it, we're going to end up like that. That's why I say stand up and say something. Just say something. Aussiebot said ASIO are just an extension of the woke mob, and they are. Dr. Brendan Maloney said ASIO absolutely was spying on people. When I was on LinkedIn, ASIO were checking my personal messages and interfering with my account. I criticised ScoMo on his account, and the next day the ATO personally phoned me. Well done, Alex, keep them accountable. Meanwhile in Melbourne said, question, did ASIO spy on C19 critics in Australia? Yes, they did. I've been a critic the whole way through. Since the first Chinese person fell over and I noticed their arms went out to save their face from hitting the pavement. Okay, let's have a look.
Reports from the media in the United Kingdom several weeks ago that a shadowy intelligence unit secretly spied on British citizens, politicians and journalists who were criticising their government's lockdown policies. It was called the Counter Disinformation Unit. Did the agency spy on Australian citizens, politicians and journalists who are critical of the position on mandates, on lockdowns and mask wearing during the COVID period?
Thank you, Senator. I'm aware of that UK reporting and the situation you outlined that I've read in the media. Of course, I have some classified insights into that from our United Kingdom partners. Beyond that, obviously, I can't say what we have found here in Australia other than we see foreign interference and espionage coming from multiple countries and talking across a range of things.
Right, so the question was, did the agency spy on Australian politicians, journalists and citizens about those issues?
I wouldn't comment on what we find in terms of who's spying on who, other than saying we do find a number of foreign intelligence services or agents and proxies of foreign powers who do spy on Australians here in Australia. And when we find those matters, we deal with them as we find them.
So that sounds like a yes to me.
No, I'm not making any comment. I'm not confirming or denying.
5 eyes. They spy on each other. Okay, we've got UK, is it Germany, Canada, Australia and US, and they spy on each other's citizens because you're not allowed to spy on your own citizens, right? That's why he's saying that. They probably did. Andy No said German Antifa members are suspected to be behind a brutal beating of a man in Budapest, Hungary on February 10th. The masked militants ambushed him from behind and struck him repeatedly on the head and face using weapons. He was left severely bloodied before being maced. Sorry, I don't want to show it, guys. Graphic video, another angle of the mob. Okay, I don't really want to show it. But is there an alleged reason that German Antifa is attacking a man in Budapest, Hungary, other than generic thuggery and lawlessness? Andy No said he likely was accused of being far-right by Antifa, although I'm unable to confirm that as his identity has not been reported. Is there more? He's an employee at the tobacco shop where the attack happened. According to him, he previously had been approached by one of the women at a post office asking whether he planned to attend the far-right rally. He said no, but they assaulted him anyway. Why would Germans go to Hungary to beat up Nazis? I don't think any German wants to go to a Hungarian jail at the moment. Okay, so Antifa, I don't know what they're doing, but they're at it again. Oh dear. Fifi Murray said the stolen generation is a myth. We were all absolutely programmed at school to believe there was a stolen generation. When I found out about 8 years ago that there was a reason for the children were being handed off by their mothers to protect them from being murdered or abused. And the women as well were being, they don't last long. They get beaten, okay? As Andrew Bolt says, give us a list of these so-called stolen Aboriginals. Aboriginal Australia wasn't utopia before 1788, contrary to Lydia Thorpe's assertions, and that's one of our stupid politicians, one of those virtue signallers who probably lives in the inner city and tells everyone how to live when they've got it all, you know? Colin Rugg said breaking another train derails in Houston, Texas area. Officials claim hazardous materials were on board. What the hell is going on? Is BlackRock and Vanguard trying to get rid of some evidence or something? What's going on here? And there's the train derailed in Houston, Texas. Hazardous materials on board. I would say, I would honestly say that these look like more FFs to me. But knowing who owns it, I'm starting to question that. DC Drano said in the past week we've had 3 major train derailments, including one with a chemical spill, 4 flying objects shot down by our military. Every social media platform went down at the same time. Power went out in 2 congressional buildings. I have to ask, are we under attack? Sour Patch Liz said 1 spy balloon wasn't enough, the derailment wasn't enough. Breaking, emergency crews are responding to a train derailment in Enory, South Carolina. I'm sorry if I've said that wrong. Enory, South Carolina? I'm not 100% sure. Let's have a look at this one. 16 cars derailed in Montgomery County, Texas. At least 1 person has died. Possible hazardous material situation. Upward News said just in, wild, Netflix recently released a film, White Noise, about a train derailment of toxic chemicals causing a massive explosion and deadly toxic disaster in Ohio. Actors in the film from East Palestine faked an evacuation and months later are doing it in real life. Is it fake? Or is it real? Oh, honestly, can anyone in any of these areas tell me? Oh, hang on, what's going on? Diversity is your strength. Who was this? Oh, the person's been removed. Oh no. Okay. Marie said left, current Pfizer board member, right, former FDA commissioner, both, Scott Gottlieb. Okay, he's worked for both. You get the revolving door now. They did it with Monsanto. They probably still do with Monsanto. Now they're doing it with these. Because Bill Gates loves GMOs. Brett Marjorie Taylor Greene said East Palestine. Is that how you say it, Palestine, or is it said differently than Palestine? Okay, guys, you can correct me down below. Ohio is undergoing an ecological disaster because authorities blew up the train derailment cars carrying hazardous chemicals, and press are being arrested for trying to tell the story. Oh, but UFOs. Was this part of the movie, or is this real? That's what I'm wondering. I don't want to be this cynical, but yeah, that's not normal cloud either. But you know, I mean, oh goodness. Okay, Rage Against the Vaccine said Hunter Biden laptop cover up. There's the bit we see, is it? Oh no, we're not even seeing that. We're seeing probably up here the little tip, very tip of it. Okay, the Department of Homeland Security has a disinformation governance board in some form running every Western social media outlet like China runs their social credit score dystopia, and they've been doing this since at least 2016, if not 2008. Well, that would make sense why YouTube went down the gurgler around that time. People were complaining that well, that was more toward just after 2010, I think. People were complaining about the adpocalypse that happened. That was well before I even started on YouTube. Yeah, and it just got worse from there on in. Cauldron Pools said the question came in light of recent reports the British Army spied on lockdown critics, including high-profile journalists during the pandemic. Did ASIO spy on COVID? Yes, they did. We know they did. Look, when they don't answer a question with a straight yes or no, you might as well take that as a yes. Especially when they beat around the bush about it, okay? I'm serious. You need to listen to what their answers are. If they do not answer a yes or no question with a yes or no, you want to assume yes. Stephen said, I'll just leave this here. Yasmin Mohammed said, smiling man from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Oh, Hole's the head of his wife, okay, who he took it off. Men from the Islamic Republic of Pakistan creating and sharing memes about taking their wives' heads off. This is what we're up against. The word misogyny doesn't even suffice. And I'm not going to... There is an actual picture and it's blurred out, but I really don't want to show this. Should I? No, you guys tell me down. I don't want to show it. It's pretty gross. Mega Patriot David said, what the F? The president of Ukraine owns a $35 million home in Florida, has $1.2 billion in overseas bank account. Zelensky owns 15 homes, 3 private planes, and has a monthly income of $11 million. Why is no one questioning where the aid is going? And it's going from every country, guys. The UK has done it. Australia's done it. Has New Zealand? Canada's probably done it. And I know US has done it. All of our countries, look, they're just washing their money over there. Marie said, if you believe that people need to be injected with carcinogens, toxins, aborted fetal cells, animal DNA, parasites, antibiotics, fungi, insecticides, disinfectant, etc., in order to be healthy, you may need to reevaluate who the actual conspiracy theorist is. Okay, Stu Peters said, Zelensky's a drug addict. Oh, we can tell. We can tell. Remember the sniffing the other day? Snarkish Dano said, now we know why the distractions have been put in place. Balloons, trail derailments, Super Bowl, etc. This is what they want to avoid and will sacrifice anything and everyone to prevent it. Freedom Fighters said they want you looking everywhere but where the truth is. Keep looking at the balloons and now UFOs. What they want you to see is not what you should be paying attention to. 160 names to be revealed. God is great. Okay, 160 cronies of Jeffrey Epstein to be named by US court, including high-profile figures. Over 160 names of people associated with multi-millionaire. Associated or actually went to the island and really, like, associated? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, we'll wait and see. Miss K said, wait till the end. This will blow your mind. What is this? Oh, this was good. Okay, ready?
36 have been accused. And he said, Dad, guess which is it? Is it NBA or NFL? 36 have been accused of spousal abuse. 7 have been arrested for fraud. 19 have been accused of writing bad checks. 117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses. 3 have done time for assault. 71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit. 14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8 have been arrested for shoplifting. 21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL? Well, the answer is neither. It's the 435 members of the United States Congress.
How interesting was that? Everyone thought it was the NBL or the whatever it is. Oh, this one too, Illuminati bot. More on those oils, okay? More on these oils.
Canola oil is toxic. Here's how it's made. It starts with the seeds of a rape plant, which are completely toxic to humans. In order to make canola oil, these plants must be specially bred to lower the levels of erucic acid, a toxic fatty acid strongly associated with heart lesions. These seeds are then ground at high temperatures to extract the fragile oil, which is inevitably oxidized because of this harsh process. This oil must then be washed with solvents like hexane, a known neurological toxin. Then it must be processed with bleaching and deodorization so it doesn't smell rancid like it really is. After all of these steps, the canola oil is left oxidized, contaminated with solvents, and containing significant levels of trans fatty acids. And this oil is marketed to you as healthy by the American Heart Association and found in so many of our foodstuffs today. If you want to be healthy, get this damaged.
Don't eat canola oil, okay? It's just, honestly, that's been known for quite a couple of, at least a few years, that canola oil is really, really bad. Chris Erickson said, friendly reminder that our Finance Minister, Chrystia Freeland, I've got another tongue twister. No, sorry, tongue-tied I am today. Chrystia Freeland allocated at least $2 billion to a company that does not exist, and there has been no investigations launched, and she still remains in her position. Clown world. Really? This is in Canada. I know by the little flag. Oh my goodness, guys. I think we're going to find a lot of this going on in all of our countries as well, but Canada, I feel sorry for you. Malcolm Roberts said despite the potential national security breach of a secret Chinese police station in Sydney, our spy agency ASIO doesn't appear worried and claims to not know anything about it. China must be laughing at our government. Yeah, just like they're laughing at Biden. So we have a secret Chinese police station in Sydney, and ASIO is not worried about it, but they're worried about people talking about C-19. Bloody hell. Sorry. Gunwelder said, hot take, our infrastructure is crumbling, as is Medicare. As it is, Medicare is effed, and these anti-Australian flogs are doing this. One third of the country are responsible for this, and that's not democracy. And this is going on about the ensuring another 19,000 votes, and it only costs us $9.4 million to help them process the new visas. Albo MP will find them homes, schools, Medicare. Sickening. And they're allowed to bring family members in, so that's a possible few 100,000 more. I don't know. Sanchez says, the left. Let's have a little look. Let's have a look. Okay, they're just... this... I'm trying to... I've got to see that again. Go, mate, go. I hope it blew his nose off. No, I don't wish anyone harm, but just, you know, these climate ones and, you know, the people who go protesting at meat places and all that. Yeah, those ones. I'm so over this, said, let his blood be well spent. Hear his message. Remember it, teach it, live it. Never, let us never forget those whom have died fighting for it. Oh, this is about JFK. Yep, it's 6 minutes long. I'm not going to play it. Oh, here we go. Eshan Pereira said, social credit system already here in Australia. Are you ready for it?
Become apparent that sending your child to a South Australian public school might be the worst thing you could ever do to them. Now, we all know that the education system has been thoroughly captured by progressives and those who benefit from big state ideology. But every now and then, it's helpful to be reminded with a concrete example of how insane some of this stuff has become. It's come to my attention that a public school in Adelaide has developed a point system rewarding students for their woke actions, and I've got the document to prove it. Under this woke social credit system, 5 points are awarded to a student who's seen to be, and I quote, apologising and correcting themselves or someone else for using incorrect pronouns, or challenging racial and sexual or homophobic language or actions, and even authentically
Oh, you little bugger.
Activist curriculum which coaches them into gender dysphoria. Students spend around 6 hours a day with an activist curriculum which coaches them into gender dysphoria, hatred of white people, excessive self-awareness about their so-called privilege. Now, if your child in South Australia decides they want to switch genders thanks to a video they saw on TikTok, the school may even encourage them to pursue the path of puberty blockers against your wishes. That's in the SA Department of Education's own documents. And to top it off, this particular school penalises non-compliance with this social credit system. It's clear our public education system no longer educates children, but brainwashes them in the hope of shaping them into activists. The Marxists are moving into the next stage of their craven operation. They're doubling down on capturing our children and developing the next generation of child woke soldiers.
Take your kids out of school if you can. Oh my goodness. Okay, Malcolm Roberts said, what? Read that again. Inhuman, immoral blackmail. It's disgusting that parents want to keep their job in order to put food on the table for their children were forced into an untested jab they didn't want. Now this, complete breach of basic human rights and decency. From Rukshan Fernando, it's the real Rukshan. Hospitals in Australia will gladly accept generous donations of organs from unvaccinated people, while at the same time denying life-saving organ transplants to desperate Australians that don't want to sign up to the big pharma mRNA subscription. So they'll take their organs, but they won't transplant any to people who haven't had the jab. Snarkish Dano said, if you think for a second that we haven't known and tracked every single one of these drones immediately, then you need to look up the Jews and other early warning radar systems designed for exactly that flight path from the Pacific. PSYOP, folks, continued. This is how you open the normies' eyes to the fact that our own governments are spying on us. No coincidence that there was English writing on the components of the recovered balloon. Only thing Chinese in that thing was the chipsets that were hijacking the info we were collecting and sending it straight to China. This is all part of the show. Learn it, recognise it, and don't fall for the MSM hype and war drums. Much like we're finding out it was our own government that released this thing across the world, same with these balloons. The biggest takeaway we need to learn from this, the US government and its deep state handlers are the bad guys of the world. It doesn't mean that we as citizens are bad, just those who've been placed in the positions of power above us are. That's the same with Catholics, Christians, all of it. There are, of course, nuances, so painting with a broad brush is inherently dangerous, but most will fall within the bad category. This is the awakening of the citizenry to that duplicitous evil and the rising up of the masses to throw off our slave chains. Enjoy the show. Another factoid to chew on, realising the CIA, DOD, DARPA and the CCP are all arms of the same SES Hydra. Then the game becomes even clearer. Way easier to control when you are in charge of both sides of us versus them paradigm. Hence why the CCP can claim it was theirs. A fresh pick from AK. That was the other one. I think that was the one that was supposed to be the size of the car. Or a bus. Oh, I don't know. But Well done, Schnarkish Dano. Aussiebot said Pfizer must be giving him some pretty good kickbacks to poison off his whole country. Brazil, here we go. New President Lula announces all citizens must be jabbed to receive state benefits, even going as far as taking away payments from families if the children aren't jabbed. Oh dear God. Okay. Dr. Eli David said the science was settled and the inventor of lobotomy received the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1949. The science is never settled. Never blindly trust the experts and never believe in science. Okay? Because way back in the 1940s, are you depressed? Do you suffer from anxiety and migraines? You may need a lobotomy. They treat schizophrenia, panic disorder, OCD, chronic pain, violent outbursts, PTSD, ADHD, ADD, Alzheimer's, unmanageable loved ones. Oh, wow. I'd say this was before and this was after. But only takes 10 minutes. Lobotomy specialist Walter Freeman. And he was an MD as well. Okay, they used to... Yeah. You get it. I know you get it. 5 times August said, good morning, Bill Gates. Your music video has been viewed 500,000 times across social media platforms. Isn't that great? And I think it's got a copy... I would get a copyright strike, but there is a music video here that I have shared on Twitter. It is really, really good. Okay, I know YouTube are going to throw me a copyright strike if I even try and play that. That's sad. They're really sad. Bohemian Atmosphere said, so if they're really feeding us the UFO story, does this mean we're nearly at the end of the show? I kind of think so too. Peter Clack says, Antarctica shows no signs of warming after 70 plus years. Debunking hysteria over warming from carbon dioxide. It's a body blow to the fake fear campaign by the UN and delusional billionaire and globalists. Well, most of them are globalists. Net zero leads to tyranny and crushing Western freedom. Definitely. Brett Marjorie Taylor Greene said there's been space junk, weather balloons, spy balloons and military advancements for years. All of a sudden the world's superpowers are shooting unidentified objects down. Looks like a testing of military prowess. Lack of evidence and briefings are extremely noticeable. Colin Rugg said new Hollywood producer Dylan Jordan sentenced for running a prostitution ring that supplied famous clients with women against their will. Everything they called you a conspiracy theorist for is true. At a school in Dover, 3 Afghan child migrants aged 13, 15 and 16 pinned down a girl pupil and acted as lookouts while another Afghan 15-year-old boy attacked her. They arrived via a Channel dinghy last year. All have been arrested. They should be thrown out of the country. Oh my goodness. And Big Bird said a politician finance minister charged for money laundering in Boston. So you got things are happening. The opinionated black woman said, my question, where the hell are our aliens? Why haven't we shot down any UFOs here in Australia and New Zealand? Come on, Albo, we don't want to miss out. Not fair. Light the fires and kick the tires, Big Daddy. Oh dear. I don't think we want them. There's obviously spy balloons. I'm sure there are some out there anyway. Okay, Marie said, thalidomide, medication used for anxiety, insomnia, morning sickness and tension. Biggest man-made medical disaster ever, with more than 10,000 babies born with deformities and thousands of miscarriages. Yeah. UK doctors call for an end at this because have we forgotten thalidomide? I don't even know how to say it. Okay. Marie said they have to show you and aren't hiding it. Control minds in an inverted cross. This is... What's her name? Oh my goodness. You know who... Give me a sec. Oh look, I can't even remember her name. I know she sings under her umbrella. Okay, that one. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't get it out. Okay. You know who it is. I know who it is. I can't even remember her name. How am I going to remember that died stuff? Thomas Massey said, imagine a pallet with $1 million bills stacked on it. Now imagine a giant boat with 1,000 of those $1 million pallets on it. Visualise 100 of those giant boats, each with 1,000 pallets, each with $1 million. 100 billion is how much we've spent on the Ukraine. Now imagine thousands of these. On boats. Thousands. Thousands. Nasty One Reborn, he's back. He's back. Weather manipulation isn't a new thing. Research Operation Popeye. The US government were manipulating the weather over Vietnam during the Vietnam War. The cloud setting was said to have extended the monsoon season by a month or two, helping flood out the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and that's true. I believe, what's his name from Top Gear? See, can't remember names. I'm hopeless. But anyway, let's just, you know, one of the Top Gear guys did an actual, went to NASA, watched NASA make rain. So, I mean, and that was on mainstream TV. I don't know how many people picked up on that, but one lady also was on there being interviewed who got married. And she said that she got married somewhere and they cleared the rain for her. Yes, she's a very rich lady and they cleared the rain for her. Malcolm Roberts says $65 million grant is a subsidy, right? Subsidies always raise prices, right? In every country that raises the proportion of solar and wind generation, electricity prices skyrockets, right? Chris Bowen, another stupid politician in Australia. The Albanese government is investing in vast solar to boost renewable energy and energy security. Our $65 million grant will supercharge a groundbreaking solar thermal project in Port Augusta, South Australia, and create up to 450 regional jobs. Look, no it won't. Anything they claim is BS, okay? It's not going to cope. It will not cope. And yes, he's right. This is a subsidy and it will raise the price. Okay, and that's where we end it today, guys. Okay, I won't be here tomorrow due to babysitting, but I don't know, I might be able to do something. We'll see how I go. Okay, have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Let me know what you think of all this down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, guys. Bye.